As the year comes to a close, the Premier League becomes even more exciting. Here's the schedule for the 18th round of the Premier League for the 2025-2026 season. Let's start with the earliest match between Manchester United and Newcastle United. The match between Manchester United and Newcastle United will take place at 3 a.m. on December 27th, Vietnam time, at Old Trafford as part of the 18th round of the Premier League. This will also be the only match on Boxing Day this year. Manchester United enters this game with more concerns than excitement. The 1-2 loss to Aston Villa ended their unbeaten streak and dealt a blow to their top four ambitions. More importantly, Bruno Fernandes suffered a hamstring injury and will definitely miss the match. Historically, the Red Devils have never won a Premier League match without their captain in the starting lineup since 2022. Kobbie Mainoo may also miss the game, forcing the midfield to rely on Casemiro and makeshift options. The United defense is still fragile with the absence of De Grove and Markway, and their home form is alarming with 3 consecutive winless matches. On the other hand, Newcastle is no more stable. The 2-2 draw against Chelsea exposed their familiar issue of losing control after taking the lead. Injury problems in the defense force Newcastle to continue using Lias Miley as an emergency right back, but they might get some good news with Nick Pope recovering in time. Notably, Newcastle won 2-0 at Old Trafford during this time last season, and that memory will make this trip a real test for Manchester United. The match between Nottingham Forest and Manchester City will take place at 7:30 p.m. on Saturday, Vietnam time, at City Ground as part of the Premier League, in the usual early slot for Manchester City. Nottingham Forest enters the match with a defensive mindset as their top priority. Since Sondai took over, Forest has been more stable and temporarily escaped the relegation zone. However, they are still one of the lowest-scoring teams in the league. The home team is further depleted with Willy Boly and Ibrahim Sangare out due to injury, while Chris Wood and Ola A are also sidelined and Ryan Yates' participation is uncertain. Forest will likely play a compact defensive game and hope for quick transitions. Manchester City heads to City Ground under pressure but full of confidence. Pep Guardiola's side is 2 points behind the league leaders and has won 7 straight matches in all competitions. Despite missing Rodri, Kovacic, and Doku Highstone, City's squad depth still allows them to control the game. The head-to-head history heavily favors the visitors, who have dominated Forest in the last 3 seasons. In this context, Phil Foden stands out as the key creative force, and Manchester City is expected to continue chasing the title with a controlled and ruthless victory. The London Derby between West Ham United and Fulham will take place at 10 p.m. on December 27th, Vietnam time, at London Stadium as part of the Premier League. West Ham enters this match with a clear goal to regain their winning form after 2 consecutive defeats to Aston Villa and Manchester City. However, the overall performance of Nuno Espirito Santo's team since early November has been positive, especially at home, where they have secured 2 wins and displayed tactical stability. In terms of squad, the Hammers do not have any new injuries but will miss Aaron Wan-Bissaka and El Hadji Malik Dios for international duty. Fulham arrives in London with a certain level of confidence. Marco Silva's side is 13th in the league, 5 places above West Ham, and recently secured 2 consecutive victories against Burnley and Nottingham Forest before the Christmas break. However, they are also dealing with injuries to key players like Alex Iwobi and Samuel Chukwueze, while Rodrigo Muniz and Ryan Sessegnon are also unavailable. The recent head-to-head history is balanced, but West Ham's 3-2 win in January this year at home still stands as a reminder that Fulham must be cautious in this tense and emotional derby. The match between Brentford and AFC Bournemouth will take place at 10 p.m. on December 27th, Vietnam time, at G-Tech Stadium as part of the Premier League. This is a crucial matchup in the battle for survival and stabilizing positions in the middle of the table. Brentford enters the game with a clear advantage at home, where they have won 5 of their 8 matches this season. They also dominate Bournemouth in their recent head-to-head record, winning 8 of the last 11 encounters. The Bees' biggest asset continues to be Igor Thiago, who has scored 11 goals in 17 matches and is among the league's top scorers. However, Brentford is not without its flaws. They're the team that has dropped the most points from leading positions this season, indicating vulnerabilities in controlling games. In terms of personnel, the hosts are missing Fabio Cavallero, Milambo for the long term, and Oni and Wata are also sidelined due to injury, limiting their attacking options. Bournemouth enters this match with an open attacking style, having scored 26 goals in 17 matches but conceded 29. Their unstable form and vulnerable defense make this an important challenge for Iriola's team in a game that could see goals from both sides. The match between Liverpool and Wolverhampton Wanderers will take place at 10 p.m. on December 27th, Vietnam time, at Anfield as part of the Premier League. This is a matchup with contrasting tones, as Liverpool is on the rise, while Wolverhampton is sinking deeper into crisis. The Reds are currently in the top 5 and have just secured 3 consecutive wins, including a dramatic comeback against Tottenham. Their high-pressing game and strong home form are helping Liverpool regain their position in the Champions League race. However, they face a challenging squad issue, with Mohamed Salah leaving for the Africa Cup of Nations, Alexander Isak injured, and Gakpo and Endo are also out. In contrast, Wolves enter this match with the mentality of a bottom-tier team. After 17 matches, they have yet to secure a single win, possess the worst defense in the league, and are on a losing streak. Injuries continue to deplete their squad, making this trip to Anfield a daunting task for the team. The history and current form heavily favor Liverpool. The only question is how long Wolves can withstand the pressure at Anfield, or if it will be another easy evening for the home team. The match between Arsenal and Brighton will take place at 10 p.m. on December 27th, Vietnam time, at the Emirates Stadium as part of the Premier League in the festive period with a packed schedule. Arsenal enters this match as the league leader and has the opportunity to strengthen their position if their rivals slip up. After a setback against Aston Villa earlier this month, Mikel Arteta's men have responded positively, with 2 consecutive wins against Wolves and Everton, both by a narrow margin. Arsenal's strength lies in their ability to control games and score the opening goal, having won every match this season when they've scored first. Despite having played in the League Cup midweek, Arteta likely will keep his main starting lineup, with Odegaard in good form and David Reyes approaching 150 Premier League matches. Brighton heads to London with a dip in form. They have gone 4 matches without a win and have struggled with starting games well, often failing to score in the first half, which has put them at a disadvantage against a team like Arsenal with the league's best defense. Nevertheless, Brighton is a tough opponent, especially when they manage to score, and this match will be an important test for Arsenal's title ambitions. The match between Burnley and Everton will take place at 10 p.m. on December 27th, Vietnam time, at Turf Moor as part of the Premier League, with major implications at both ends of the table. Burnley enters the game under heavy pressure from the relegation zone. The hosts are in 19th place and have the worst defense in the league, having conceded 34 goals in 17 matches. Although they recently ended a losing streak with a 1-1 draw against Bournemouth, defensive issues remain their biggest problem. Burnley's squad continues to be depleted, with Amouni out for the long term, and Foster and Hannibal are also unavailable due to injury, limiting their attacking options. Everton heads to Turf Moor with much more stability. Sean Dyche's side is mid-table, relying on a solid defense and effective pressing play. Despite a recent loss to Arsenal, Everton's overall form is positive, with 4 wins in the last 5 matches. The head-to-head record favors the visitors, who won all 3 encounters with Burnley last season and kept clean sheets in the last 2 matches. In this context, Burnley must secure points to keep their hopes of survival alive, while Everton has the opportunity to extend their positive run if they maintain their discipline. The blockbuster match between Chelsea and Aston Villa will take place at 12:30 a.m. on Sunday, December 28th, Vietnam time, at Stamford Bridge as part of the Premier League, with both teams in the top 4 facing directly.
Aston Villa arrives in London with high confidence, having won 10 consecutive matches in all competitions and is now on the verge of equaling the club's longest ever winning streak. In the Premier League, Villa has won 7 straight matches. Their tactical stability and the explosive form of Morgan Roger, who has been directly involved in the most goals this season, have been key to their success. However, Aston Villa is not entirely injury-free, with Bakary, Ming, and Gilson unavailable, and Pau Torres' participation is uncertain. Chelsea enters this match with caution but hope. Although they are in 4th place, the gap in points indicates that they are not yet safe. Under Enzo Maresca, Chelsea has performed well against strong teams, defeating Liverpool, Tottenham, and drawing with Arsenal. Their biggest challenge remains scoring goals, as no player has stood out in this department, especially